So good morning everyone, my name is Emma Laffey and I'm from the Skehana District Heritage Group in East Galway, and Lauren has kindly asked me to be part of this ICANN meeting, which I unfortunately can't make in person, but I'll give you a quick rundown on a project she asked me to talk about, which is on Bhean Ghline. So on Bhean Ghline came around really because I had a little ebook I did 2 years ago on old photographs I collected. It was also funded by the Heritage Council. I'll send the links with Lorna for you to view that. And in it there was several different photographs that took my interest. One of them was a blacksmith, which we've done a blacksmithing project, and the other was on Bhean Ghline, which is a woman of the knee, handywoman or midwife. A lot of these women in earlier years were not trained. They only started really training the women in the early 1900s. And I just find these women fascinating, as they have had absolutely nothing written about them. And I suppose where my sources come from are from mostly our senior members of our community. And I've never had a problem approaching any of them, but I will say that if you want to go and speak to any of your senior members, just give them a heads up first. Go up and chat to them and tell them what you're looking for, and give them a few days, because they love to have everything ready so that they can talk to you properly. One of the women that really took my own attention was a Bina Kelly. Bina had been spoken about at several different houses I went to, and she seems to have had quite a reputation that went in front of her for kindness, understanding, and a general well-being for her patients, which were mostly birthing mothers. Between herself and her mother, they had over 80 years of experience. They were midwives from 1890 until 1970. With all these lovely compliments about Bina, I put out on social media, and don't ever underestimate social media, that I was looking for a photograph of Bina. Now Bina, I was lucky enough that a lovely man, Peter Cleary, came back to me with a photograph of Bina, a beautiful photograph, and not alone that, her niece contacted me. And I was also very fortunate that I got a rare recording of Bina, which was taken by the infamous Jim Fahey from Going West, and it's about a half hour long, and Bina explains everything from going from the blue blood, as she says, the big houses, to the travellers' camps. I will send those links to Lorna that she can all have a little listen to it. I just put it up as a precursor to the project that'll be out Heritage Week in August. I love to involve all members of our community, including the travelling community. And I have been very lucky that I've spoken to a wonderful lady called Kathleen Ward, who is 91 this year, and for a Bhean Ghline project, and she spoke about delivering babies in the camps where she was born, some of the cant words belonging to for midwife, child, all that kind of stuff, all of her experiences of midwifery and childbirth, all the little prayers and alms and things that went along with it. And Kathleen has given a wonderful interview on that, and I can also include that if anybody wants to have a little listen to Kathleen. The oldest photo I found of the midwives was belonging to a woman called Marianne Fanning. Now this lady also happens to be my children's great-great-grandmother, and the photograph was taken in 1910. She was a midwife in the Garristown area from around 1890 until the 1950s. She, like so many other women, pushed herself through education, and she had a love of education, kept her job up while she was married, in a time when women didn't work when they married, in a time when they hadn't even a vote. So these women were just absolutely magnificent. Now what I'm doing in the project is I'm doing a 5 to 7 minute film and an ebook and containing all of these midwives and the women. But the 5 to 7 minute film is going to show a lady, Mrs. Jennings, who was a midwife in the Ballinasloe area, and her family, who I got in touch with as I work in Portiuncula through the midwives. Their family have a beautiful bag full to the ginnels of all the stuff that she used, from all her instruments, her uniform, her book references, and even her logbooks, which cannot be displayed for GDPR reasons as they're not 100 years old yet. But it's great to have them and have them scanned and ready for when they can be looked at. In the ebook, I have about 8 women collected already, between midwives and handywomen. And the handywomen were the uneducated women. One was Markel Commons from Mount Bellew. That's the last known handywoman. She was extremely well spoken about, loved by all, and I was lucky enough too to get a photograph of her, and a few stories about her from one of her grandnephews. So just another point there, that a lot of these midwives on Ghlúine were involved in the War of Independence. And with Marianne Fanning's obituary, it's clearly written down the bottom of it, where the IRA members and all of the, I suppose, GAA and all the active people at that time were all there at her funeral. I would just like to thank Lorna Ellams for asking me to do this little podcast for you. And just to say, don't underestimate the support and training that you can get from ICANN with Lorna Ellams and Hassan Taba, as I have done some of the beginners courses with Hassan, and I find them amazing and very helpful when it comes to sourcing around your website and getting your information up there and out to the community. As the website is for everybody here and abroad, and it's amazing how many people that are not here at home love to listen and watch all that's going on in their localities. So I just like to thank everybody, and I hope you enjoyed the podcast.